Calling all poets. Please welcome Ulster County Poet Laureate, Mike Jurkovic.
Hi, everybody. Hey, there's a lot of familiar faces out there, and welcome home. I mean, we've been here before. It's great to see everybody. Thanks for coming out. A little bit about Calling All Poets. I mean, I know you guys know about it, but over the last few years, thanks to Zoom, it's no longer just Hudson Valley based, it's international, and it's what we've always worked for, and you're always welcome to join us anytime you can. I want to bring up our first reader. We're going to go alphabetically, so we're going to bring up our first reader, and he is the man that makes the IT work, Mr. Greg Correll.
Hello. According to the PREA Act's report, louder? Yep. According to the PREA Act, which comes out and is updated every year, there are more than 10,000 children in adult lockup circumstances in America in any given year. That's a fact. It's called Lie Like a Log. Within our inflated gutta-percha tombs, we are breatharians exchanging precious vital fluids. Spout the new orthodoxy, orgasmic fame. But truth, like whiskey, burns. Here in its monstrous online presence, its belly. Try not to move. Be calm, contented. Lie first, last, always. Lie still. Let go. Recite the leader's phrases, sing his praises. In, out. One day at a time, sweet Cheetos, and ever so masculine. Ransack us. Write us out, off, wrong. Our fear is not our choke point. Our love is not for sale. Our love is not for sale. Lie like a log deep inside your titanium-plated cheap-ass womb, you war lovers, torturers, killers, predators, you rats in the thatch. We see you. Yeah. Audience. Dark stage, spotlight on a figure in plain clothes, wearing blank mask, addresses the audience. Peers at front rows, mask unblinking, slow head turn. Do you trust me, y'all? Somebody say something. Do you trust me? If the answer is yes, we begin a perilous, picaresque journey full of pratfalls, spinning plates. Storm barricades, hoist banners, get shot down, or worse, taken by masked felons, but told with verve brio, zeal fever, because we champion compassion. No more endless chivalric quests, but a mimetic masterpiece, a realism, you know? And I know the arc spiral explode tells us how to live. Soothes the salvaged breast, the recovered incompleteness, every moment. My breath, every thought haunted. Again and again I see what happened was when I was slim and 13. Remember 13? I do. In a single 12-month period I was, bear with me, a late 60s runaway, then the poorest kid in an upper middle class junior high, then abandoned to my abusive father, then runaway again, then returned to him, then runaway again, then bounced around, life imperiled, then in a commune of junkies, speed freaks in St. Louis, Missouri, then raided by city detectives, brutes with badges, then stripped, leg burned, ankle stepped on, then terrifying hours in adult lockup. I was 14. then in a holding facility for 4 weeks, where some boys get to hurt other boys, and then I am placed in the odd and unique cell that is down the dead-end hall at the end and occupied by those bigger boys. And for 5 days and 5 nights, within 1 year, all that, 13 through 14. Now, on the other hand, you might not trust me, in which case I say and do exactly as before, even if I shout my truth down a well. Scream about torture and rapes sanctioned by heartless guards 55 years ago, not long ago to me. I returned several nights a week to that cell or a version of it. Helpless, or spotlight briefly glows red. Attempting impotent rage, or spotlight briefly glows blue. Running away without any home, without any way home. Year after year, decade after decade, some part of me keeps the score. Do you trust me? Removes mask, face wet. It was so long ago, 1970. This is go 10 toes down. Just say it. Your God wants me down and out because I don't believe. Your God promises mansions and TVs plus death to heathens. Stones for horny women, stones for impure girls, eternal punishments afterwards for being human. One who are three, three who is one. You don't own loving kindness, you crabbed souls. Anyone can be compassionate, you misers. No one is sacred. No one has a magic pixie spirit hiding between her atoms. We're magnificent. How our atoms came together, cheating nothingness for a brief time, as if infinity was suspended for our short, terrible, lyrical lives. We comment on the vast reality we inhabit like a mirror held before mirrors. History in our stomach, civics in our womb, biology in our nethers, beauty in our brains. We look out at the butcher shop, the old growth, the infinite shorelines, and try to be safe and well fed. And I'll conclude with this. I've been reading a bunch of old books, and I've discovered that 31 syllable lines are common in medieval Japan, medieval China, and medieval Europe in most places. 31 syllable lines, and it was so important in China that lovers who wanted to get behind the bamboo curtain had to speak constantly in 30 syllable lines. They couldn't carry out a conversation any other way. It's called Tweezers and Gum. Trample me, plath my troth, alongside Lillian, wroth in her extremities, prick me with a bare bodkin, motherfucker. Couplets of 30 and 31 syllables in medieval Europe, 31 syllable lines in medieval Japan. Coinky-dink. What can be said, expressed? What momentums are lurking in 31 syllables? Heal me. Count my raisins. 2 talking dogs chaw their bones. A fearful man made of glass, transparent, idle, unable to move. Lush thighs, luscious nipples, puffed and globular woman, indifferent to his red-feathered charms, awaiting a rescue, or trim sides, angular torso, smooth belly, wet candle cock, absorbed with release, immune to mirrors, awaiting a rescue.
Yeah.
You know, I know there's 5 of us up here, but you've all played a part. You've all played a part over the years in CAP. So thank you for that. Give yourselves a hand if you don't mind. Our next reader is one of the first person I ever read with. Roberta Gould coming up.
Good to see some people I haven't seen in a long time. Please raise your hand. Make this a little bit low. Please raise your hand if you can't hear me very well. Organizing these things probably is not very easy. I'm grateful to the organizers of these poetry venues and to Robert Milby, who's not with us, who organized a lot and got a lot of people involved in poetry, and miss him, okay? A variety of poems. Can you hear me? Yes. Am I too loud? Okay. This poem is called Preface. It was the beginning of my last book, Day True. Preface. Nothing is lost. Shuffle it. And when you reach in, it's creation again. You don't need much, just a little wonder. The cup in your hand draws its own water and will till the seas run dry and the rain fails to become a river. You, at the end of an epoch, a spark in celestial combustion, more than you bargained for, here where you happen to be born. Day True from that book. Somewhat autobiographical. This really did happen. Casting dice, taking cues from the thunder and the numbers that sing in your sleep. You're ready to stand up on Tuesday like a mountain in raging December. Ordained by the stars or God, the day is true. Wheels you as the hand that pushed your carriage, as bulging clouds became herds of horses circling a sky full of stanchions. The day is new as when crossing the avenue, a motorcycle smashed through the hood of your carriage, destroyed it but managed to miss you, sitting up bright-eyed and happy. And now another Monday passes. Standing up, you bravely look out. Will a new miracle hold back the latest monster? Tomorrow will tell. That was written before tomorrow came. And here we have a poem called Empire. It's a political poem. Keep the peace at home at the expense of the others. But it explodes under your fingertips, and it's done. Home was where you watched, and the word was exchanged for the curse. Did we know? Should we have known? I don't know, but my guess was educated. Death's is not. It always swears. The tyrant dreams, and the tyrant is speaking. I place little weights on the clock's hands. This fools the faithful, timelessly lost, working forever to nostalgic music. But when they awake, I am ready and move the moon. Gravity changes, and the sun starts a new journey. The earth speeds up as I choose. The constellations turn at my will, illusions sent to my believers. As I sit on my throne, bask in golden destruction, the ancient prophecy fulfilled. History, me. Just read a marvelous book by Gore Vidal called The Making of a Nation. What a wonderful writer. I really didn't know him. I only knew his speeches and talks about 5 or 10 years ago. 5 years. Honey Vendor. Honey Vendor. It wasn't exactly manna from heaven you received standing on the corner of Lexington and 3rd, but it was enough when you were choking. You remembered you were wearing the same coat you had on a month before and pulled from its pocket the little pack of honey you bought from a street vendor that day, tore it open with your teeth, sucked and swallowed it, and was saved. The 765th miracle in your harried life. Wordcraft. This is old. The words were dozing, resting from work at the Nuance Factory to regain their original nature after a lifetime of time and a half. Outside, flocks of poets lurk, nets in hand, ready to flick wrists and capture the brightest, the starkest, the most subtle, to compose poems with them if life doesn't intervene. If it does, there are always butterflies and flotillas of clouds passing by. It took me longer to organize these things on the computer this morning than, well, not to write them, but I mean, I said, well, I'm going to write, I'm going to type, I'm going to print them, so I organized, and then they were printing on 2 sides and 1 side, and when I saw them, they weren't all there, they weren't all there. It was really, I really need a secretary or something, but that will be in the next life. This poem is called The Understudies. This was a redone poem that I had, and I hope it was improved. The understudy. You all know what an understudy is? Yeah, some people, when you go to the theater and an understudy has the role in case the main player is sick or dies or has a sore throat or something. The understudies. The solution to the problem of death is giving your name to another. You get a stand-in who agrees to take it, and you wait. He climbs to the top of a hill, casts himself down, and when he passes the tree line, you become immortal. Others follow the example. One rolls off a cliff, at the bottom sees his namesake. Another stirs a minor landslide, but passing the future achieves the purpose, and nobody suffers. Yet the town condemns this. A separate class will be formed by these mistaken acts which are not in the natural order. The police come, disperse the line that has formed at the top of the mountain. Actors waiting to be hired who are now disappointed. The village returns to normal. They trudge their way home. The manual. You know, they tell us to do the most basic things and makes perhaps pre-infantile beings. I don't know, the manual. I was accustomed to walking. I did it well. From the start of babyhood, after crib and crawl. Then a manual was presented, how to heel it and tow it, remember which muscles to tighten, and the pressure required treading new carpet. I did fine without following it. Are you blind, a man demanded, when I stumbled on the sidewalk, too slow for the bus? I just kept waiting. I'm sorry, I just kept walking. You know, not everything is autobiographical, you understand? I never tripped going for the bus, but that's right. This poem is true. Drinking glass. I have a few more poems. Drinking glass. A glass stars in the school of revelation. It explodes by the stairs, shatters. And death has no dominion. I sweep the jagged shards, hear the voice long gone. Put your shoes on. Calling with distress as I gamble my feet, knowing more than when I'd awake, run about free, and hear his loud yell, don't go barefoot, next to mother who breathed but didn't snore. I am careful and do a neat job, cleaning up the glass and the entire kitchen while the water boils. Very good for a little girl, protected from danger by the commanding voice of the man, always her father. They say there are solutions to the problem of passwords. I don't know if that's true. So I had this is rather old, this poem, Passwords. Is anyone here who loves passwords? Oh no. Passwords. Passwords are killers. Out in the fray, they betray you. They remove your shoes as you run, filch your time, laugh you down. On the way to secret doors, you slip on their grease, fail to achieve what they've promised. Special passage. Slumped in your chair, spinning in the maze of a ride you never reach. You fight despair, addicted. Your sandwich has rotted. Your skin in a mad rash itches. Okay, it's one poem I didn't bring, but Out of Here. So this is sort of a wild poem, I don't know. Out of here. Get me out of here, my tongue is burning, it's the cactus juice. What do you want from an imbiber? I didn't pick this lifestyle, you know. You wish you with your prosthetic fingernails. I have to get to the mail, I need to gamble, it's calling. Crank 1, crank 2,000 to win. Look, over the chimney, 3 bells. On the screen, tell the story. The man with the dolly moves the ladder to the shelves for my chips, and astronomers lined at the counter brandish ads in day-glow with pudding. Please give them the ticket, the one with my birthday and tax numbers, my password and wedding ring. Hurry, it's not easy. Did you think life was a cakewalk? I'll help too. Are you betting? And I wish I had that poem, which speaks of the astronomer promising that we will be sucked into a black hole, and everyone, they're leaving the theater, they're getting nervous. This is paraphrasing the poem. And but then there's another astronomer who says, no, but we will channel back to the other side, and we will awake and be there like white light, celestial hope. The last poem is called Interventions, ending on a happy note. The string bean's in love with the pea, but ardor has cooled and they fight. Good neighbor, you want to help. Fear grips your gut and you panic. Is the tiny bride safe? Should you call the police? No, there's a gardener at the gate. You heave a sigh of relief. Thank you. I have a website that's not up to date, robertagould.net. Thanks a lot.
Roberta Gould, everybody. Ken, you get the phone. Come on, Ken home.
Thank you. Hey. This first poem is called Papers, Please. I've hidden my identity from myself to keep myself from accusing me of cowardice. I've hidden my identity from myself, so when a fascist stops me on the street, I can honestly say I don't know what my address is. I've hidden my identity from myself, as I no longer desire to be reminded of the country I used to live in. I've hidden my identity from myself and had a dream I'd hidden it at the market, beneath the produce and the perishables. I've hidden my identity from myself to create a story of origin that's seedless and incontrovertible. I've hidden my identity from myself, so when children run away, I can only guess who they're running away from. I've hidden my identity from myself and slipped the key to the child I used to be, so I can reclaim it when I grow young again.
Yeah.
This one is called Magnetic Charm. I do have an idea what I'd like to do next week, next year, next time there's a solar flare immense enough to rip through the Earth's electromagnetic field. I do have an idea what I'd like to do when the electric grid electrocutes itself, cell towers scream, and my wine cellar begins drinking itself to death. And yes, I do have an idea among many ideas that just may survive the question of how to survive, of how to cope, of how to peel an orange in the dark, or make small talk in a blacked out bar to a person who may or may not be a woman. And I've also an idea that day itself is dark, for day is born to fade away the way creation always does, which is why I hold to the idea of a winter's night, when the moon will ascend into bed with me, how I will share with the moon my radiant blue heat, and the moon will share with me its dark craters of light. Thank you. No. We all know, no applause, just throw them on. This one's quite new. It's called I Really Need to Stop Thinking. Another day when I woke to find dawn down on one knee, conspiring with the night to let it sleep just a few more hours. Half the country still can't spell cataclysm, and even apocalypse remains beyond their capacity, which means it's possible to live one's life phonetically and never worry the mail won't ever again get delivered. When the simplest things are being withheld from our holding, how are we supposed to know what even a stone is thinking? Thoughts about itself, yes, but more curiously, what it may be thinking of us. Just what does the face of a rock look like when it's laughing? What are we to read in the weathered lines of erosion? How is it when all we do is commune with our screens that we aren't the artificial intelligence? There's two kids across the street breaking away fist-sized pieces of asphalt and using them to pound away more of the sidewalk. There is no point to this, though perhaps it has a purpose, certainly a single-mindedness. I envy their passion, their joystick of futility, and it's all I can do not to join them. As a child, I did all I could to wedge myself deep into the couch where a treasury of loose change could be found, and the years it took to realize I'd actually been searching for sanctuary, at least until my mother would call me into dinner, though now and then I chose to stay hidden, with only the darkness that was listening, as if God had lifted the simmering lid off what was simmering within, and finding I was not among the fragrances, decreed I'd never existed. A crow's eye view. I've been lying in the compost pit, trying to get back to my essential elements. The crows give me a curious look, but the crows have always given me a curious look, like I'm a trinket they can steal and add to their nest. I've gotten to an age where I'm often cold, so I appreciate the heat from all that's decomposed. I've gotten to an age where the cotton fibers of my shirt have lost their desire to flirt. When my wife used to call me, I yelled back down the stairs, "I'll be right there. Just give me a year or two." When our dog used to bark, my wife told the dog to take me out for a walk. There's much to be said for solitude, though solitude is a state that dictates nothing be said at all. A place to witness the dry emulsion of old photographs still holding pride of place on the wall. There's one crow who has the gleam of my cheap watch in his right eye, and he's welcome to it. It's strange how all of things ill-assembled are sometimes the things most coveted, but not, it seems, these thoughts I'm having. A scree of bright stones, not one of which do the crows find worthy of bringing home. Here's a shorter poem for the pacing. It's called "You Must Be Mistaken." I made a reasonable mistake, meaning not that there was reason to make the mistake, nor that the mistake could be reasoned with. It's simply that I made a mistake so many others make, then got on with my day, as I didn't want to be late. Song of Songs. There is a tree outside my window, and it bends even on days without wind. Branches thrown back from whatever force of birth or long weather the years have visited upon it. The same long years I've religiously listened to the ethereal chorales of Renaissance polyphony, the strata of voices marrying on some mornings the staves of Palestrina to the biblical Song of Songs, so that it seems the uppermost reaches of the tree are leaning back as if to offer their own reverential voice up to the heavens and to God, though there are no heavens and there is no God. So perhaps I could then say there is no tree, but there is a tree, and it is singing. Other than that, several of these poems I get to read anywhere, and this is one of those. I'm not him. I'm the other brother, the one whose mouth is slightly broken, who can't make language submit to the thoughts in his head. I'm the other missing child, the one who was found, but whose trauma was medicated to where the child once more went missing. I'm the other transgender, transmogrified, trans-fat son of a queer bitch, the one who made no difference with their difference. I'm the other rustling infrastructure, the one they slapped some paint on, tightened a rivet, and called it a day. I'm the other abattoir, the one that shoots a bolt through the brain of mercy and can't help but break down at the dinner table. I'm the other Mexican wolf, the one who was asleep when the slaughter took place, the one who never really had a taste for meat. So there's no need to hunt me down. There's no need to set the dogs loose. Please, lower your weapons. So this poem, and then a very short one at the end. This is called For All We Know. For all I know, the purling I hear is time singing to itself as I listen at the door. For all I know, all the sorrow that flows into the earth flows into a cistern to await its rebirth. For all I know, there are atoms of mercy circling the sun, while we wonder what it is that would make us worthy. For all I know, the moon lives in fear of the crater that insists its fist be called the Sea of Tranquility. For all I know, a tropical depression is just the earth crying out for emotional medication. For all I know, my friend is quite correct when he calls on a shaman for a second opinion. For all I know, no particle of light has ever stopped mid-flight to consider its own identity. For all I know, every stone-rubbed river smooth is aware of its birth and the erasure of its beauty. For all I know, what stands between youth and age are the artifacts I've gathered, but since misplaced. And I'll end on this little ditty. It's called Fox News. As the video shows, this device can either mow a lawn or mow down children. We report. You decide. Thank you for listening.
Lisa St. John was supposed to join us up here this afternoon, but she was called away on a family business, so she sends her best. Before I bring up Guy Reed, I'm going to do just two pieces, and I want to thank you all for your support of CAPS over the years and support of me and all that stuff. Thank you. And this is called Bleed Out. If I should get caught in the crossfire before finishing this poem, will you dovetail our voices together? If I should bleed out before topping off, please keep the truth we carried into the war that threatens to silence the words we use to shorten the distance between us. And I was recently asked to compose something for the dedication of the Sojourner Truth statue up in Kingston. And as the weeks have gone by, I realized, sure, yeah, it's about Sojourner Truth, but it's kind of like, well, it's about all of us, especially in this time. And it's called Your North Star Still Stirs. Your North Star still stirs hearts to freedom, but our skies are hazy, barring light. Your North Star still stirs all souls to birthright, but our waters are foul, and some die trying. Your North Star still stirs a life without chains, without scars, but our leaders unpure. Your North Star still stirs the moon to reveal the passage, but her light has been touched by men. Your North Star still stirs the shadows of history looming, but our facts too often untrue. Your North Star still stirs a people's deliverance, a far ways off, but still within sight. Thank you. Thank you. Our last reader, the one, the only Mr. Guy Reed.
Thanks, Dave. Having us here. Mike, thank you. Thank you all for being here. It's great to hear you guys. I'm going to read this poem because if Robert Milby was here, he'd ask me to read it. Bat Dream. When you awake to find your arms covered in bats, do not panic. There may be 40 beady-eyed mammals with sharp teeth crawling under the sleeves of your nightshirt, but they have warm, fuzzy fur bodies. They've been watching you all your life, coming and going in your more or less unchanged routines. If they could, with their little suckling mouths, they would say, "It's time for a change, that's all." So, rise from your bed, hold your fear under your skin, gently but quickly step outside. Raise your arms in the burgeoning dawn and let them go. Let them lift off, and if it's necessary, it's okay to give your arms a little shake, a little shimmy, to get the last few bats out from under your sleeves. They'll be grateful. You'll be ready. Close your eyes then. You can hear the spirits whisper and sigh. I'm contractually obligated to read poems from my new book. That's the problem with having a publisher. Been reading these a lot, but I think I picked just because they might sound good in the cave or be fun for me to read here. The poet referenced in this poem is Mauro Parisi, who died in 2004. Feathers. Sitting on the living room floor, absorbing the call, a poet jumped from a bridge. Just 2 weeks ago, sitting next to him, so encouraging, eager for poetry, art, ideas. Now I cannot speak to him. Right next to each other in a gallery, metal folding chairs, his face turned to mine inches away, and now he knows what death is. A small white feather floats down and lands in my lap. John Lennon told his son that if there's life after death, as a sign, he'd float a white feather across the room. This feather, loose from a pillow or a down coat, blown into the air by a forced air furnace. Once, sitting in the yard, grieved by relatives passing, a single white feather drifted down from the clear sky and landed at my feet. Naturally occurring and so well timed. Birds shed feathers. Gravity, mass, and airflow, trajectory meets a still point. A spirit must weigh less than a dust mote, having to fall somewhere after being let go. I've seen feathers out in the world, floating behind people in line at the bank, drifting the grocery store aisle, sailing the streets of the village. And there is a rational explanation for each one, but then we don't really know. What if the dead are trying to get our attention? A feather, now the only thing they can move, something that glories in its flight. Oh, thank you. In the Museum of Night. People yelling outdoors sound like dogs barking in the distance. A great growling gnash, teeth meant to maim. No leashes hold tongues, fences are useless. One hopes there is no bite. Fighting in the night has a frequency running undercurrent. Terror. Threats burn images in the dark, sheer force of heated throats. Anger pleads for more pain, desires unfulfilled. People shouting tell everyone clearly what they don't understand themselves. Farther away, their howls disappear, fall off the horizon and become darkness. The kennel dogs continue to bark for anyone willing to listen. A poem for the extraterrestrial. When the alien descends from outer space, after we marvel at its ride, what will we offer? Einstein, Mozart, Shakespeare, Buddha, trinkets of gold and diamonds, a virgin on a stone altar, a handshake with our robot, a missile, or a glass of water? Will we ask, do you know Yahweh, or are you your own God? Do you have children and put them to bed with stories from the past? Does our sun shine a dim star in your night? I'm asking now, for unless it happens soon, I won't be here if it ever happens. We might go blood mad in the streets or tear at our own skins under the shelter of home. Do you know fear? Have you met us before, and are there others? Would we applaud the alien and admit our childhood traumas? Could we even just weep in our neighbor's arms? Thank you. Two more? Two more. I'll read some new ones. Just wrote these this week. This one, lost my best friend, 54 years. Was home for the memorial. Wrote this. One crow is for sorrow. A murder of crows, talking, joshing, and jabbering out of my sight beyond the thick-leaved trees. Maybe hassling the doe and the fawn grazing under the branches who move off. I'm a visitor to this house. I hear a squirrel squawking insistently and think, ah, there's the argument. Then silence. I walk down the drive through the dappled morning of late summer to see what's going on. The crows are nowhere to be seen. A large dead oak tree is centered in a ring of huge living oaks and giant blue spruces. They fill the sky. The dead tree was the crow's tree, the dark burl erupting out of the gentle green lawn. Long, thick limbs reached the end of their climb just to become stones in silhouette to blue. No squirrel, no sound, no motion, no nest. I stand there surrounded by an aged stillness. One view for all of life changed only by a death in the circle. I don't know these trees, but I knew you. We met decades ago, not long after learning to keep time. That's what we did for each other. I learned that recently when, unexpectedly, I outlived you. Now, I just have crows and trees. Born during the prime of our great-grandparents, the pines kept evergreen against winter's white cold, and these oaks will again shed leaves, grow new ones in the spring. The trees will endure further past me and what was us, but they don't live forever. Friend, so much continues, and two crows are for mirth. I'll finish with this one, which is meant as fun. Poet sitting on a picnic table. I don't know that I'd want to live up among the cloud tops that hold the last glow of the day. All I would do is stare, unfocused, at the gorgeous light and sigh. Eventually I'd weary of being naked to the stars every night, and the wind's rush so constant I might lose my mind. And please, no voices. I don't even want to talk. Everyone in their own bliss and no need to communicate it. Isn't this where I'd call for a harp? Violins, maybe a guitar. A piano would be too heavy. But some music to tune out the atmospheric roar. Of course, with music comes dancing. It's then you might converse with an angel about any matter in mind or heart, which has become the same thing. I don't want to say there's floating involved, but all fleet feet are light and have lift, even for those with wings to keep them aloft in the air. The rest of us can't step off the clouds as we gaze upon the hell below, the tiny choking beasts scurrying about in teams with like-minded desires, and nobody knows what to believe. We simply turn back to our sky views and sigh some more. Did we earn this by the grace of a simple belief in a Creator's forgiveness, or does it come with the price of admission to live in the clouds, unseen and unknown, with beauty and music forever and ever? Amen.
Why is the stage a little wobbly? I know we're remembering Robert, and I would also like to remember Donald Lev, Paul Clemente, Enid Dame. Help me here. I know there's more. Andy Clausen, Pamela Twining, Janine Palma Vega. Yep. They were all part of Hudson Valley Poetry, and they still are. Ron Ryder, Saul Bennett. They were all part of it, and they still are. Thank you, everybody.